Hi, brothers and sisters. Father Stephen here. As we're coming into the last weeks of Lent, I'm reflecting on this wonderful season of penance. And a lot of us took on particular penances for Lent, and maybe we're living them well, maybe we're not. Maybe some have fallen by the wayside as a result of all the changes that have been happening in our lives. But it's good to reflect on what that penance actually does for us, what that penance means for us. We recognize that penance helps us to unite ourselves to Christ, to move away from the world and to turn to God. And particularly in turning to Christ in his own sacrifice, his own taking penance on for our sins. We recognize that when we take penance on, we unite ourselves to him. And a lot of times we focus on penance as this thing that we do for ourselves. But we recognize that there are penances that are sometimes imposed on us as well. We see it very clearly in the sacrament of reconciliation. As we confess our sins, the priest will give us a penance, some way of making reparation and drawing close to Christ, drawing his grace more and more into our lives. And that's imposed on us by the priest. And there are other times where we have different kinds of imposed penances. And in fact, right now, we've got this kind of secular penance of self-separation, seclusion from one another, seclusion from friends, from family sometimes, and sometimes with people we don't want to be around all the time. And it's good to recognize that that's also a penance. Whenever we embrace suffering well, we unite ourselves to Christ, who embraced the greatest suffering well, the suffering of his passion and his death. We unite ourselves to him in taking that suffering on spiritually, recognizing that we're doing it out of love for the people around us, for love for the most vulnerable in our society, out of love for our family and our friends. We're doing it out of the love that led Jesus to suffer and die for us. And especially in this time of suffering, let us take this unique penance on. Let us take this unique cross on our shoulders and bear it daily, following the footsteps of Christ, knowing that his passion, his suffering, and his death ultimately led to his resurrection. Let us follow him in carrying the cross, taking on that penance well, so that we can be united with him in the joy of Easter.